can't be turned down if they really want the fight. And I think important to stress, I do believe they want the fight. Well, I believe Carl Frampton wants the fight. We're here today, Adam Russell, Scott Quigg's lawyer, and Scott Quigg, of course, answer any questions that you may have. Fire away.
What's been the stumbling block? Why? I mean, you've been speaking to Barry on and off, haven't you?
Yeah.
What's been the main?
I think the main issues have probably been regarding the split. The conversations have been ongoing. You know, always our intention, which we stated months ago, was for a 60-40 split to the winner of the fight, which we think is more than fair, because I don't think we're going to find common ground in that respect. I think it's pretty clear that where the money's coming from for this fight, and that's through the Sky Sports box office model, and therefore we're able to make an offer of a significant number in 1.5 million. We haven't received an offer. We could not receive an offer from them anywhere close to the numbers that we're putting forward today. So we hope now Carl Frampton will look at that offer and say, I have to take it.
How much has the TV been a problem?
Not greatly. I don't think that. I think it's generally accepted that Sky Sports box office is where the fight has to be.
By them as well?
I believe so. I mean, like I said, there's been no offer. It's not been like it's one or the other. It's like this has to be on Sky Sports box. And I think that's been generally. I mean, you can speak to them. I think it's generally accepted that this fight, not saying that his next fight, but this fight has to be on Sky Sports box office. And we've always known that from the start. I don't think they have a massive problem with that, to be honest with you. But it's really just a case of now we had to come up with a number that we feel really is impossible for him to turn down, based on his, earning potential moving forward with a voluntary in the summer, which is his other option, which is our other option as well. No one really wants that. I don't think Scott Quigg wants another voluntary. I don't think Carl Frampton wants a voluntary. I just think they want to fight each other. But we're running out of time. July the 18th, unless this is made this week, this fight can't happen this summer. So Scott will box on July the 18th, whatever, at Manchester Arena. So we've got our options covered, because I felt for a while this might not happen, but we're trying to give it every opportunity to happen now.
Have you had any indication?
I don't think Carl Frampton has a problem boxing in Manchester. It's the biggest indoor arena in Europe, I believe. He would bring half the. We'd section it off. You can have Carl Frampton fans, Scott Quigg fans. I don't think he has a problem with that. The conversations that have been ongoing from the initial discussions, which has been going on for well over a month, has involved all parties except Carl Frampton. So Scott Quigg's been on the chains. Adam Russell, of course, has been on the chains. Their lawyer, Barry, Jake, but not Carl. So we want to get this message to Carl. The offer was made this morning to his official British Boxing Border Control licence manager, which is Barry McGuigan. And I don't have Carl Frampton's email address, so I couldn't include him as well. But I'm sure now he's got the message.
Eddie, it's 1.5 million, but how does that work? Is that 1.5 million each?
No, that's 1.5. We take the risk.
Yeah.
Right? 1.5 million is based on a sellout and a hell of a lot of pay-per-view buys, if they were both to get it. Scott might not get 1.5 million. That's not how this offer is working.
Yeah.
This offer is working with us together, collectively, coming up with a number that we believe Carl Frampton can't turn down. If it doesn't do the pay-per-view buys that we anticipate, he might get a third of that.
Yeah.
But we'll take the risk. He hasn't got to take any risk here at all. Because on those split arguments, you all take risks. If you want to say, it's 60-40, if it doesn't do the buys, you don't get paid. We are putting our money where our mouth is, saying we believe it does do hundreds of thousands of buys and it sells out the MEN in quick time. Then, if it does, maybe you'll get that as well.
How do you feel about that, Scott?
The main thing is that I want that fight. He called me on national television. I went over, got in the ring, and then the next day he stated, make the fight. So he told his team to go and make the fight. He's called me. I've wanted the fight for a long time. I want to prove I'm the best, and I want this fight. Don't call me out on national television, and then not come and get in the ring. I recall yesterday he was on the thing. I'm a Sky TV hype job. Come and fight the hype job. Well, believe me, we'll see the hype job when he gets in the ring.
Did he ask you to go over that time? Did they ask you, or did you just do it?
Just pay for his own ticket.
Yeah. They
Don't
would make you a guest.
No, listen, I respect him as a fighter. I think he's a very, very good fighter. But you want to be in them big fights. You don't want to be. I don't want to do a voluntary defence. I want to be in big fights. And this fight is. There's no reason for it not to happen now.
Is that why you're willing to take the risk money-wise? Because you want the fight?
Yeah.
You know, because if you was bothered about the money, you're saying, well, I want
And
what Carl's getting. So
I think
you're
that's
willing to take the
important. I
risk.
think that's important, Pat, as well, because it's not just me taking the risk.
Yeah.
It's Scott.
No, it's the fight. People, listen, I get up every morning, not for money. I get up for the love of what I do, and to make sure I want to be the best. So I want to test myself against the other top fighters in the division. And this is a massive fight which has been building and building for a number of years now, and I think the time is absolutely perfect. And I think the fans will be in for a great night. And like I say, I really 100% believe I will beat him, and I want to prove all them doubters wrong.
I think in fairness to Scott as well, he's had the willingness to, and I suppose the win to fight anyone. It has for some time. It gets frustrating. But ultimately, you have to protect him with equal measures as well. That's where we are today.
How frustrating has it been? Because, like you say, he's called you on TV. He's always on Twitter. It sounds as if he wants to fight as much as you do.
I believe he does want to fight, and I genuinely believe he thinks he'll beat me. But so I don't understand what the sticking point is from over there. He needs to start pulling. When I want something to happen, I get on the phone and I tell, this is what I want. He needs to speak up, and if he wants to fight, tell his team. Well, it's there now anyway. You don't have to tell his team. The offer's there. If he wants to fight, then like I said, I generally believe he wants to fight, but we'll find out today whether he actually does, because 1.5 million. If you want the fight, you snatch their hand off.
Not to be put too fine a point in it. Do you believe, or do you think that Frampton has been left out of the loop with all the negotiations?
No, I'm not going to let you put words into my mouth, but I think that all I can tell you that he hasn't been involved in the negotiations at all points during any previous meetings or particularly ongoing dialogue via email and new offers. He hasn't been involved in the dialogue. That's not necessarily any kind of accusation. Mm-hmm. Some fighters, Carl Froch is the same. Yeah. He would say to me, go and get on with it. I don't tend to work like that with my fighters. I like them to know everything. And that's why if we're working on a show together, Scott Quigg will know everything. He'll know every cost, he'll know every revenue stream. It's a lot easier that way. Because when you walk into an arena and they're on a purse and they turn around and they go, how much is this fat promoter making out of me tonight? But we don't work like that.
In fairness to Eddie as well, just with the transparency side of it, with the new offer today, everyone will know about it. So there's no hidden agendas or any issues we're worried about. Everyone knows exactly what's going on.
I think that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this today, so that it's out there. I think he's had a tough end of the ride. Everyone's saying, oh,
it's Scotty's fault.
Of course. Yeah. It's like, all he does every day is ask me for this fight. So we can't try any harder. I mean, and it's my job to deliver the fights for him and also for the public, but also for Sky. So this is really a showcase to say we can't do any more. Now, there's no other reason why this fight can't happen. So
you're expecting a yes answer?
I think I'm expecting some rumblings and some movement, and I believe I'm expecting some contact for sure. Because at the moment we're going nowhere.
When was the last time you spoke to them?
Thursday.
Last week.
Yeah, Thursday.
What kind of feedback are you getting from Barry on this?
I haven't spoken to Barry.
Yeah. No.
So you're dealing with Jake or?
Jake.
And what's the feedback like?
I think that they've got a similar option to us. They fight Scott Quigg, or they have a voluntary. Same with us. We don't want that. We want to. I don't think Frampton wants that. So, it's about the fighters. It's about what the fighters want. So if Frampton, he must have seen this offer by now, sits there and think, do I want 1.5 million in my pocket to fight Scott Quigg with no risk, nothing, and people will sit there and go, yeah, well, what about the deal with the other broadcaster? I'm not sure there is one. You'd have to ask him, but
it was a one-fight deal, actually.
Well, there you go. You've answered that question for me.
Initially, it was
yeah. So, and it's not about we want to be involved in the promotion of the show. If you want to be, I don't care, but you don't have to be because the money's up front for you. You ain't got to do any work. What do you want? Your name on the poster?
So for that $1.5 million, all they got to do is turn up on July 18th.
No hassles. Yeah. No hassle selling tickets. No hassle panicking about the pay-per-view buyers. No hassle pushing the media as hard as they can. Sure, there'll be obligations, and I think you want to get involved with as well. Press conferences, media workout, big deal. But this is the key here. And actually, listen, if they come back with a reciprocal offer, he'd find it quite difficult to turn down. They can't come anywhere close. That's the bottom line.
So does that go into an escrow account?
Go wherever they want.
Yeah.
What's going to happen if you don't hear a positive response by
He
Friday?
fights on July the 18th.
So you will dismiss the fight by Friday?
It's the same with Kel. We knew. I've had a feeling for the last.
This is a fight that I want because it's the biggest fight in the division, and it's not often in some fighters' careers they don't get a rivalry and a potential super fight like this in the career. This should happen, but if they don't want the fight, I'll move on, and I don't need him, and vice versa. He doesn't need me, but this fight should happen. But if you don't want, I'm not gonna beg for this fight. If they turn down that, he doesn't want the fight, so I'll move on. But my point is, I want the fight to prove I'm the best, and that's it. Not because I'm begging for a fight or anything. He called me out. I'm ready. Make the fight. If not, I'll go on and make some other big fights. But he needs to make things move, or it's not going to happen. And it'll be a shame because we're lucky we have each other, because this is what's creating a massive fight.
Based on the arguments about the split you've already had, is that figure sort of what you think that they would imagine getting if they were got,
It depends how you view the buyers of this fight. If you have a very conservative budget, then that's much more than 50%. If you have a very aggressive budget, it might be a little bit less than 50%. If you're about in the middle, it's probably still less. But on any budget that you're basing a pay-per-view fight, you have to budget an X amount of buyers. And you just don't know what it's going to do. You can relate it to other fights that have done X buyers and X buyers, but the fact is on an aggressive budget, that is a great offer. So, like I said, the risk comes if it did, if it did a couple of 100,000 buyers, it ain't good news for me or Scott Quigg. But we have to do something. And I don't mind taking a punt because I believe it's a big fight. What he's not going to get is if it does good buys, he's still not going to get a bad end of the deal. But really that number calculates the deal based on conservative buys and still him getting the lion's share.
So what does Scott get?
Depends how the buys does.
So it's purely based on
Scott Quigg can own the show. So we'll work together.
Yeah.
So
I'm happy with a win.
Yeah.
Really?
Whatever comes after that is a bonus.
So there's no minimum in the contract?
No, there'll be no minimum for Scott Quigg.
So you could end up with 300 grand.
Could be 300 grand.
Yeah.
Could be 300 grand.
You've worked it out to the point
how we believe if this show does fantastic,
then it will do 3 million or whatever. Yeah.
So, but all the risk is here.
Yeah.
This side of the table, not that side of the table, and we're the only ones that can deliver Sky box office. And when people talk about who brings what to the table, I completely agree. Frampton, you know what, in Belfast, definitely sells more tickets than Scott Quigg does in Manchester. Congratulations.
But you'd see it as a sellout in Manchester anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it sells out anywhere. But the fact is, the people bringing the money to the table is Scott Quigg and Eddie Hearn and Sky Sports. So if you don't believe we don't deserve a decent share of this pot, you must be mad. Because like I said, they can't come up with an offer anywhere near that kind of number.
Have you had any cash offers or
No.
nothing? It's all been based on
Splits, yeah. But splits with us bringing the dough to the table. Not, we can bring all this money and give you some of that. It's like, well, you bring all this money and then we'll carve it up. Oh, great, okay.
Have you got an update on Barry's backers? What's happened?
No. All I've seen is probably what you've seen, which is a story. They were raided
Twice.
twice. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that they obviously were broadcast sponsors of the last show on ITV, and significant backers of maybe the last year. I don't know. I can't remember when they started being on campuses, but that's a question for him. It's not our business, but I don't know if that affects him moving forward. You know, I think generally terrestrial broadcasters are built upon ad-funded programming these days, specifically for boxing. So you rely on a broadcast sponsor to effectively pay your TV.
So that background, that's why I can't go anywhere near what you've put down.
I don't think the broadcast, the backing of Sky Sports box office just smashes every other potential TV right stream to pieces. And we know that, we've known that for years and years. Everyone in the business knows it. Look at Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. It's a great example. You know, they look at all the offers and decide where we're going on Sky Sports box office. So, but again, it's not a case of sitting here saying, they aren't making an offer. They can't make an offer. They couldn't make an offer because they know it's so insignificant, it would be embarrassing to make it. So we therefore come up with an offer, which I think he has to turn around and say, I accept. And it might hurt a little bit.
Would you go beyond that? Say in negotiations they said, okay, it really sells, Scottish fight really takes off, and they ask for a cut of the upside.
Potentially, that's all open for negotiations. I just feel that we need to get this fight moving quickly. And at the moment it's going nowhere. So this is a bolt out of the blue to get people's attention. But it's real. You know. And I think, like I say, just check actually. Won't rule out a reply.
Oh, I have a big deal.
Is it now or never for you,
Oh,
Scott?
it's a Barry movie.
Here we go.
The real Barry movie.
Is it though, now or now? There's going to be no point in counting back in 12 months' time. Do you just want this now or not?
No, there's one. You'll never say never.
I think
it's perfect timing, but
this is a statement coming out from Cyclone.
That was about 10 minutes.
It's quick, very quick. Cyclone Promotions, who represent IBF World Champion Carl Frampton, are in negotiations with Matchroom Sport, who represent Scott Quigg, to deliver a co-promotion of this eagerly awaited contest. Cyclone Promotions made several attempts to organise a follow-up meeting with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Sport to progress these negotiations. Incorrect. What actually happened was, we told them, these are our terms, and there's no point meeting up if you aren't going to accept them. That's the first thing. Cyclone Promotions and Carl Frampton are therefore surprised by this afternoon's public offer from Matchroom Sport to Carl Frampton. I bet you are. Matchroom Sport understands Carl Frampton is under contract with Cyclone Promotions. Correct. If Matchroom Sport are interested in joining Cyclone Promotions in staging this domestic super fight, we recommend Matchroom accept the invitation for a follow-up meeting. No need. We've told you what the terms are. They didn't want to accept that terms either. So therefore, now we come up with a new offer. Quote from IBF World Super Bantamweight Champion: "My team and I," not true, "have been in negotiations with Matchroom Sport." He hasn't been in any meetings, he hasn't been on any emails. "To co-promote this fight. It has been made very clear to Matchroom Sport throughout the entire negotiation period that this huge domestic fight can only take place as a co-promotion. It is therefore frustrating that Matchroom have deviated from negotiations with this offer." I don't have a problem with it being a co-promotion. If it wants to be Matchroom Sport in association with Cyclone Promotions, I couldn't give a monkeys. If you want your name on the poster, if you want to be read out by Michael Buffer, just to give you a hard on, good luck to you. Doesn't matter. So We haven't deviated from negotiations.
No.
Negotiations are over. They have gone nowhere.
With that in mind, is this kind of a bit of a Hail Mary? This is like
This is the last ditch. This is our last ditch attempt to make this fight happen for the summer.
Any other meeting would be a carousel last one.
Yeah, same as
We sat
There's
down. You know, I mean,
absolutely nowhere.
it's like let's have a meet. Let's have another meeting. Why? This is the terms. Yeah, but let's have another. You know, it was so. We were so far out. You know, there's no point. We ain't got time.
The 10-week countdown.
Bit more.
Yeah.
You know, about 12, I think.
Yeah.
So Eddie, just to clarify then, that statement has no impact whatsoever on her position.
So all they're bothered about is it being a co-promotion.
Yeah.
So what that statement says is not about Carl Frampton, it's about Cyclone Promotions. We've told them it has to be a co-promotion. Why? Come up with a load of money, promote it yourself. Not Matchroom. I don't care. If they want to do Cyclone Promotions presents Scott Quigg against Carl Frampton, no, I don't have to be there. I'll be there as a fan, cheering him on. As long as he gets paid an absolute fortune, don't get me wrong, I'll take a few quid off him as well. But I don't have to be on a poster or even sit in front row. I'll be in the tiers if you want. You know, so the fact is, everything is Cyclone Promotion, Cyclone Promotion. What about Carl Frampton? You know, and it's not, this isn't about Matchroom Sport. This is about Scott Quigg. So that statement frustrates me. Negotiations are ongoing. They are not. They are over.
It's just totally generic of where we've been. It's not direct in terms of saying that we're deviating. You deviate when you repeat the same position, don't you? Hence why the direct offer you mentioned a Hail Mary. It's a last chance saloon, isn't it?
Eddie, what's the situation with the WBA? Because obviously, as regular champion, you're kind of in line to fight Rigondo.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a chance they might mandate that and you would have to drop the belt to fight Frampton? Are you kind of there yet?
Not really. I mean, I've spoken to Gilberto Mendoza, told him our intentions. He'd love to fight between Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton like everyone else. Would it be for the WBA and IBF? It would certainly be requested, that's the case. If it's not, I'm guessing you fight for the IBF, you'll answer your own story.
Yeah.
And vice
You'd
versa.
be happy to do that to get this fight over
Yeah.
the line? Yeah.
I mean, you've got a position, sorry, you've got...
This fight's bigger than...
Yeah.
You know, the main thing, yeah.
You've got a situation at the moment with Jamie McDonnell and Tomoki Kameda. WBO say, no, we're not sanctioning this fight. Looks like now, Kameda will vacate his WBO and fight for Jamie's WBA. It's just a fight. It's not, you know, they're not Quillen, you know, vacating. It's not. It's just really about the fight. The belts are great, and it will be for a world championship, whichever one is on the line. All right.
Yeah.